Hello, my name is Rhiannon Cowan and welcome to this presentation exploring the relationships between motor and cognitive function as we age, a cross-sectional pilot study. I am a current PhD student within the University of Utah's Health, Kinesiology and Recreation Department. I would like to thank all of the affiliated authors and numerous research assistants for their contribution to this presentation and project. Motor function deterioration stems from local physiological and musculoskeletal changes and overarching neural changes which occur as we age. It is commonly thought that age-related changes in hand grip force are associated with sarcopenia and atrophy. Recent longitudinal data suggests that age-related changes are not due to muscle wasting, and that muscle strength but not muscle mass are associated with the negative health outcomes. Furthermore, it has been increasingly evident that impairment in neural activation of skeletal muscle is a key contributor to muscle weakness in older adults. Voluntary activation of a muscle represents the proportion of maximal possible force that is produced voluntarily, and impairment indicates some motor units are not recruited or are not firing fast enough to produce fused contractions. It is also generally reported that older adults have greater variability of voluntary contractions, which has been linked to neural changes and could predispose older adults to movement errors and significant functional impairment. We hypothesized that average hand grip force would be greater in younger adults than older adults, and that older adults would have greater variability of muscle activity. Furthermore, we hypothesized that increased engagement in physical activity will improve grip force scores of older adults. This pilot study aimed to support evidence of age-related differences in average grip force and variability. Furthermore, the study aimed to examine the influence of factors such as cognitive scores and physical activity on grip force performance that may be associated with neurodegeneration. 22 healthy younger adults and 22 healthy older adults visited the laboratory for a single 2-hour experiment. Only 20 individuals from each group met the inclusion criteria for the EMG task. Descriptive data was collected from all participants, including their current level of physical activity. For cognitive assessment, the participants conducted a repeatable battery for the assessment of neuropsychological status test. For physical assessment, the participants completed a grip force task using the hand dynamometer. Electromyography data was collected throughout the hand grip task. After preparing the skin, surface electrodes were attached to the dominant forearm wrist extensors and flexors to monitor muscle activity throughout the trial. Participants were instructed to squeeze the dynamometer to maximal force for 3 seconds. This was repeated 3 times with 2-minute rests in between trials. All muscle activity were normalized to participants' resting baseline activity. For neural assessments, 32-channel EEG data were collected throughout the entire experiment. To analyze results, linear regression to assess the associations between age, sex, and levels of physical activity by measuring cognitive function, muscle activity, and hand grip force. Results supported previous work showing that young adults produce a greater mean grip force and a smaller coefficient of variation in each trial compared to older adults, as you can see in Table 1 and Figure 1. When we consider gender differences, male participants produced greater grip force on average compared to females. Interestingly, from our initial analysis, despite having higher average grip force, younger adults produce significantly lower wrist extensor and wrist flexor activity than older adults. Furthermore, when looking specifically at wrist extensor activity, a significant 3-way interaction between resistance days, age, and sex indicated that taking part in more resistance training is beneficial for reducing variance in extensor muscle activity. This effect was pronounced in older adults and females. We also found a significant interaction between grip force and sex, which indicated that for females, R-band scores and grip force were positively correlated, but for males, a higher grip force was associated with lower R-band scores. These findings suggest that force efficiency and production decreases as we age, consequently influencing motor function, but that this rate of decline can be moderated by many factors, including physical activity and cognitive function. The analysis for EEG markers still needs to be conducted to assess any neural changes. We are considering the use of transcranial magnetic stimulation as a marker of neural drive in order to assess levels of neural activation during the grip force task. Overall, grip force is essential for an independent lifestyle, and so this research has functional significance for the well-being and daily lifestyle of older adults. Thank you for listening, and please contact me at rhiannon.cowan@utah.edu for any information about this presentation.